All right, Jules, we're not done. We have more quick hits.
Yes.
Next Wednesday, September 11th, is the date that Kylian Mbappe is expected to testify before the French league in his dispute with Paris Saint-Germain over the 55 million euros that he believes the club owe him. It's that famous verbal agreement, right?
Yeah, that's it.
I genuinely thought this is bad publicity for both. I think they both look stupid in this.
Yeah, you're right. It could have been avoided, I think.
I would have thought they'd have a deal done by now, but they're both pushing.
No, and I think there could be even more after that because I think they could even go to FIFA and stuff like that. We know that Kylian's lawyers have gone to FIFA already. We will see what the league says. We don't know if Mbappe will be there physically or not, or just be represented by his lawyers. 55 million euros. He could have asked for even more than that because I think he went a bit lower than really what they owe him. PSG, as you said, just saying like, listen, we had an agreement, we agreed to this, we shook hands, nothing in writing, nothing was written, nothing in writing, but we agreed to this. And now he's kind of coming back on his agreement from before and on his words, which Kylian says, well, you didn't treat me well between February and the end of the season.
Well, they didn't pay his salary for some months.
Yeah.
But surely, whatever his agreement is, I mean, leaving aside the bonus, this is the part I don't understand. His salary is not a verbal agreement. No. His salary is real.
Yeah.
He's got a contract. Yeah. Lawyers.
That's why I think PSG are going to lose this. Vinicius Jr. has been harshly criticized by the mayor of Madrid and others for suggesting in an interview with CNN that if Spain, who are set to co-host the World Cup in 2030, that if Spain doesn't involve in terms of racism and fight against racism, then the World Cup will have to change the location.
Yeah, I think this is where we in the media have done a really bad job because context matters. So Vinicius sat down with CNN with her colleague Darren Lewis. He gave a long interview. He did say that if the situation doesn't evolve, then the World Cup needs to be moved from 2030. But he also said a ton of other stuff. He talked about how the situation had improved. He talked about how much he loves it in Madrid and in Spain. He talked about how the majority of people in Spain are not racist. He talked about that, there's other people who, and this is what I've always believed, because I don't think you can turn somebody not racist in their mind, but you can influence their actions. And so he says there's cameras around, there's less abuse. He talked about how important it was when those 3 guys went to prison and so on. So he's not just a guy sitting there trolling Spain.
Yeah.
He's expressing his view, fine. But he's made it very, very clear that he's got a deep relationship. And so for the mayor of Madrid, I don't know if you watched the whole thing. I invite you all. It's out there.
Available everywhere. Yeah.
Just watch it, make up your own mind. But, for him now to demand apologies and whatever, get the context first. Some good news for Chelsea, Jules. The Premier League have approved Chelsea's sale of 2 Stamford Bridge hotels to Blueco, which of course is the company controlled by the club's owners, Todd Bowley and Clearlake. Jules, this means they're more likely to avoid breaching profit and sustainability rules. Are you okay with that, or does it seem a bit dubious?
Well, one, it's great news for the club, obviously, and for their finances. So if you look at the price that they paid for the hotels and the price of property in the area, I think it's probably the right value. So it's
£76.5 million. It's not. It doesn't feel like
you've got one bedroom flat in that area that's sold for 2.5 million. So this is the numbers and the figures don't shock me.
Right.
If they had sold it for 250 million, we could have said, listen, it's not worth that. You've gone too far. So the price, no problem. It's still the fact that you're selling to you basically, and that's where I find that a little bit dubious.
Yeah, they did get individual valuations, but it does give you an advantage, obviously, later on in what you can do in the terms. If they somehow lease things to Chelsea, do they do it at market value or whatever else? I think what's really interesting is UEFA does not allow this sort of transaction. So this doesn't solve any issues they may have with UEFA's profit sustainability rules, and that will come into play later.
Victor Osimhen has joined Galatasaray on loan, Gab. You know what this means, don't you?
It means the best is yet to come. I am so happy he can play football again. Obviously, the market in Turkey is still open. We won't get to see, we'll see Galatasaray in the Europa League.
Yeah.
I think it's probably the best option since everybody's being so
the only option, to be fair.
At this stage. Napoli are also extending, they've installed a club option as part of the deal to extend it to his deal to 2027, which I think makes sense. It preserves market value if he scores 50 goals and somebody, wants to offer 150 million for him. Napoli aren't over a barrel. Or if Conte upsets everybody and it's run out of town, who knows? Maybe he can come back. So I think it's a good solution. Is it the optimal solution? No, not at all. It's a good solution for Galatasaray, though, because they cover his wages, which were big for a year. Optimal solution would have been he got his move, or maybe some might say optimal solution is Conte isn't so pig-headed and works with Osimhen, but that's another issue. So, I think this is good if you like football and you like seeing really, really good football.
And the reception he got from, as you would expect, because this is a deal that should have never happened in the first place, really. Osimhen is, no offense to Galatasaray and the Turkish league, but at 25 years old, he's too good for that level. So for him to sign there, and the fans, I think, showed him how much they love that move.
And he's got his wish to stay in Europe because, of course, Galatasaray play on the European side of the Bosporus.
They do indeed.
Nico Jackson has extended his contract at Chelsea by another 2 years to 2033. Jules, you understand this?
I'm just a bit disappointed that it's not 2035. Easily they could have given him even 2 more years to that. I don't know what to say anymore. I'm sure it makes sense financially for them, otherwise they would not do it. For him, probably because he got a pay rise, I would suspect.
I think it's a bit like the Cole Palmer deal.
It's exactly
they haven't
the same.
confirmed this, but my understanding is there's something written into the contract where if you hit certain benchmarks, then your deal automatically gets extended and you automatically get a raise.
Yeah.
I think that's all that happened. There's no need to make fun of Nico Jackson.
No.
For better or worse, from Chelsea's perspective, he's been their starter for 15 months.
Yeah,
he's generally been fit, unless when he's been suspended for being stupid and getting stupid yellow cards. He's going to get better.
Yeah. Leicester City have won their case against the Premier League and won't face sanction for violating PSR. Going back to PSR, Gab, some things like this will have an impact on the City case and the 115 charges.
So it has an impact in general because it calls into question lawyers and how powerful the Premier League is when they go to independent commissions. But beyond that, this is completely different. Leicester basically argued a loophole. Leicester argued that when the charges were filed, they were no longer a Premier League club, and so they can't be punished. Leicester clearly violated the spirit of the law. I don't think there's any doubt there.
We said that wage bill was the 16th highest in Europe.
It's ridiculous.
Last season.
But hey, lawyers, right? This is what you do. Nick DeMarco, you're a genius. You can sleep at night, maybe, but I think I know where you're going after you leave this world. Mohamed Simakan has left Leipzig for where else? Al Nassr for a 45 million euro fee. Jules, this is a different profile of player from the one that usually moves to Saudi because people think, he was supposed to be really, really, really good. And he is very good.
And he is very good. I think there was a time where he was really close to the French national team. And at 24 years old, I am a bit surprised. I won't lie that he's going there. It's a great move from Leipzig because I think they got him for 10 million from Strasbourg at the time, which is an incredible profit then made by them. There's still time for him to come back. It doesn't mean that he will stay in Saudi Arabia for the next 10 years and finish his career there. But in terms of ambition, not sure exactly
he gets to
what
play
he's
with
doing.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
That's
he
true.
goes out there, makes some money.
True.
Why not?
Yeah, okay. Newcastle United director of football, or new director of football, Paul Mitchell, says that they're not worried about losing Eddie Howe if he takes the England job, if that becomes available, possible for him, and that the club transfer strategy before his arrival was not fit for purpose. Hello, Dan Ashworth. I bet you like this one.
Okay, so he said, Paul Mitchell said a lot. First of all, I love the fact that it's not just him, it was Monchi we're going to get to.
Yeah, it's good.
I think it's important that these people now, since so much power is taken away from managers in terms of recruitment, and because this and PSR is such an important part of the game today, it's important, I think, that these people speak out and face the media and provide another messaging from the club's perspective. Okay, he's not fussed about Eddie Howe taking the England job. Yeah, okay.
Even for Eddie Howe, that's not great to him.
It's not great, but you know what? If his attitude is the right one, like, you're not here, we get somebody else.
Yeah,
I know. It's not like the club collapses. None of these people is Sir Alex Ferguson.
But it's almost if he's like, please take that England job, Eddie, please.
The not fit for purpose, I don't know if he meant for that to slip out. Obviously, he feels that way. He felt that, maybe there wasn't as much of a coherent strategy. Maybe it's because, Ashworth shared some of the power with Eddie Howe in a way that maybe he's hoping not to. I don't know, but it's good to hear people speak freely.
Yeah.